Okay, so I know recently I said that, I'd run out of things to say in the blog, and that's kind of why you guys weren't getting posts lately. Maybe not entirely true, because I've been, sort of going through my notes here. Yes, notes, that's how serious I take my blog. And, came across a few little, things that I'd jotted down to perhaps blog about at some point, but they just never really fit in with the topic of a given post. So I've decided to throw together a magical blog to pound them all out. So first there was some things I wanted to say about the Autobahn. I know I told people that were concerned about my safety that I'd sort of avoid such roads, but it was pretty much impossible. Plus it really saved me a lot of time. It was a lot of fun, so screw you guys. I did it anyways. And just one thing I noticed was, there's no speed limit, but then there's the recommended speed limit, and the recommended speed limit is 130, so that's kind of what I stuck to. But anytime a car really came whizzing by you, I'm not talking like 140, I mean like 230, past you like you're standing still, 90% of the time, station wagon. Like, maybe even 95% of the time. Every time, station wagon. And of the station wagons, always an Audi, and if not, maybe a BMW, Volkswagen, or Mercedes. So, German station wagons, craziest drivers of them all. Yeah. What else? Let's see. Fuel prices seems a little odd. Everywhere I go, there can be like a pretty big difference from one station to the next. Like you can have the one that's like a Euro 20 a liter, and then the next station is like a Euro 30 a liter, right? And it's weird, because you'd think everyone would be stopping for a Euro 20, so who's stopping for the Euro 30, and how's this guy staying in business? I don't know, maybe they're feeling sorry for him or something. They slept through capitalism class. Mommy, please, let's stop at his station, he's so honest. I don't know. Now what else? That Bud Light Lime, that's kind of the big craze right now. Everyone's mental for this Bud Light Lime, and I'll admit I fell victim to it as well, but I don't know, after having it a couple times, I'm kind of like, it kind of, I'd rather have a Corona with a lime squeezed in it, because, I don't know, there's something about the Bud Light Lime that just tastes a little, like, chemically, or I don't know what it is, simulated lime. It's just not doing it for me. So I was kind of like, well, it's a bit of a gimmick, it's selling, so, good on them. But here there's kind of like, there's lime flavors for like all these other, like, sort of what I consider prestigious brands. Like there's Hogarten Citron, which is Hogarten Lime, and there's Beck's Green Lemon, which is lime and stuff. So, I've been trying them all, and they're still not really doing it for me, but I thought that was kind of interesting that they were falling victim to the trends. See what else. Back to sort of what I was saying about being safe, or trying to be as safe as possible. There's sort of a big thing here where everybody on motorbikes does lane splitting, right? If you don't know what lane splitting is, that's where, cars are in their established lanes, and you sort of go right up the dotted line between cars, right? And at first I was very much like, no, I promised I'd be safe, I'm not going to lane split, I wouldn't lane split at home, I'm not going to lane split here, right? So, leaving, I think it was Bordeaux, there's probably about an hour and a half I spent in a gridlock, which is traffic jam, whatever you want to call it, a queue as they call it here in Britain. But on all these bikes just zoom, and I was like, no, I'm taking the morally high ground and I'm not doing it. But then, sort of as the trip wore on, I was like, when in Rome, And, you know, if everyone expects bikes to do it, then it's a little bit safer than if you suddenly do it out of the middle of nowhere. So, a traffic jam occurred one day while I was in a rush, and I tucked in behind a row of bikers that were splitting lanes, and it probably saved me a good hour, if not two. So, from that time forward, I kind of guiltily took to the lane splitting with a little more vigor, a little more plum, I guess you would say. I don't know if that's a word. Aplomb? Plum? Yeah, whatever. What else? Got some notes here. Back home, when I first started riding motorbikes on the road, the very first motorbike I passed, I noticed his hand came out and gave me a little wave. I was like, oh, cool, you know. He sees that I'm a motorbike, and he waved to me. But I didn't think much of it until, you know, a few more guys started waving, and I came to know this as, or I call it the biker's code, which is you pass a bike, you give him a wave, you kind of acknowledge his love of riding, you know, the two wheels just like you. At this time I was riding kind of a standard motorcycle, and I had been exposed to what I call the bias, which is kind of cruisers wave to cruisers, sport bikes wave to sport bikes, but they don't really go like cross class or whatever. I don't know why. A lot of sport bike guys, they just won't wave to anyone because they're too cool to do anything but go really fast. So I've always kind of prided myself on I wave at anybody, you know, if they're passionate as motorbiking, I respect that, and I'll wave at them. I'll even do a scooter or two, shamefully enough, but luckily they don't do scooters here because there's so many of them you'd never have two hands on the handlebars. But here they really they'll wave at anybody, which I appreciate, and they have this other one which I'm used to the wave, but they have one where you pass a guy and you stick your foot out to kind of let them know, hey, I passed you, but this is my wave because I can't wave at you. And I thought that was kind of cool, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. Well, I've been going to McDonald's a little bit more than I'd like to admit. I've probably been 4 or 5 times, so a little ashamed of that, but at the same time, when you're on the road, you don't want to sit down for like a half-hour meal. It's just easy to pop in, pop out. But they have this one in France. This is why I bring it up, called the Petit Plaisir. I don't know what that means, but it's like a cheeseburger, so like bun, burger, cheese, but then it's like salsa, nacho chips, top of the bun. I don't know, it's damn good. And yeah, if it ever comes to Edmonton, get on that because it's money. I was thinking the other day about kind of like how my actual, like what I ended up doing and what I had planned in the beginning, kind of how they lined up, and there was a couple differences which I'm very glad that I made. One of the big ones was going up to Andorra. I can't remember who suggested that I do it, because it'd be a really good shout out. I mean, you don't really shout out in a vlog, so it's like the ultimate shout out. But I can't think of who told me. It's like, go to Andorra. Name it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's just but anyway, so originally I was just going to the coast and up the Mediterranean, but oh man, that Andorra was probably one of the best legs of riding that I ended up doing. So whoever you are that suggested it, yeah, that was a good call. But yeah, I don't know, other than that, hopefully I haven't just wasted the last 9 minutes of your life.